Today we're going to be talking about muddy color. We're going to discuss what muddy color is and what it's not, and if you have it, how to fix it. Today we are going to talk about muddy color, what it is, how to stay away from it, what to do if you have it, and there are 4 keys to fixing muddy color. The first one is to have good value relationships. Second is mixing the right color temperature, real important one. 3 is controlling your colors, and 4 is clean brushes. So let's start with what muddy color is not. This is a painting by Robert Henry, early 20th century figure landscape painter. And he was also the founder of the Ashcan school, a derogatory name for he and his students, mainly because of where they painted. They painted in New York and Philadelphia, in the poorer parts of town or working class. And people thought they just, it's a dirty place to paint or dirty subjects. So they dubbed them the Ashcan school. And maybe also thinking about their color. You look at this color, there's a lot of black, a lot of brown, a lot of earth colors, ochre, and it has an appearance of dirtiness. But this is not muddy color. This is actually really nice color. It's muted, it's desaturated. It's not real pure color, but it harmonizes real well. Probably using black, ochre, burnt sienna, a little bit of cad red there, it looks like, and a few bright spots. But they're darker, grayer colors, and as long as you get the values right and get good color temperature relationships, it's going to work. And it's got really good value range. It reads well value-wise. It's got cooler colors in the background, warmer colors in front, some dark, cool colors kind of in the deeper shadows. So it works really well. It harmonizes. So right value, good composition, and a little bit of color makes a beautiful painting. And that's what he's done here. Not much color as far as pure color goes, but really good harmony and good value and composition. So that's not muddy color. Here's another one here by Chauncey Ryder. Again, a lot of grays, some stronger color. Has a good balance of some brighter color in the greens and yellow and oranges, and then a lot of grays. So a combination of both, I think, is a good balance for color. But the values look good. Good temperature, cooler color in the background, some warmer color in the foreground. The colors don't look out of place. Nothing jumps out like it doesn't fit in color-wise. So there's no muddy color there either. Another one of his, again, good values, temperature, cooler in the background, warmer in the front. It's got light and darks on some of the foliage, light and dark in the foreground. Values look good. And the colors harmonize. Probably a limited palette, don't know what he used. But you always get good color harmony when you have a limited palette. And he just chooses here not to add more pure color. He keeps them all grayer. This is an artist named Charles Edwin Lewis Green. It's got all 4 names going there. British painter. I just came upon him, so I haven't really looked at him yet to see what his story is. But I've found some really nice paintings. I thought I'd stick them in for this lesson. But again, muted. Black, browns, really gray, violets, probably from black and red. Probably no blue at all. But the values are good. Nice cool colors in the background to make them recede. Somewhat warm sky, good color temperature, good values, good harmony. So not muddy color either. This is another Charles Edwin Lewis Green. Again, a lot of gray, muted color, but the colors harmonize well. It's not muddy. So just the lack of pure color does not make a painting muddy. Here we have blue. I'm using ultramarine blue, a little white in it, and I'm adding a little bit of burnt sienna to make grays. So a little bit of burnt sienna to the blue here gets slightly more muted, a little bit more here until it goes just gray there. But none of these are muddy colors. They're just grayer than the ultramarine blue and white. And as long as the value relationships in the painting all work together and the color relationships or color temperature relationships work, then it's going to work real well. Here's a phthalo blue with orange. The two complement, and you mix them and you get grayer color. Again, that's not muddy either. It's just more muted. It's a less intense blue. And the orange too, a little stronger here, and it's a little more muted here with the blue. Again, complements, mixing grays there. That doesn't make a muddy color. An example here, this is by Fyodor Zakharov, 20th century Russian impressionist. And you can see he's got a good combination of bright colors, these bright blues and greens here, some reds, purple in the background, really strong, nice blue, blue-green in the sky, yellows, but also a lot of gray in the wall. Again, mixing complements. He might have used black, I don't know. My guess is he's mixing complements because the grays have a lot of color in them. But there's good value relationship here between the value of the wall, the value of the hillside, value of the house, value of the shadows. It reads well. And the color temperature there, kind of dark, cool colors. The cool colors in the sunlight have enough warmth in them. They're just a warm gray. So they stay warm in the sunlight. And then the shadows are a lot cooler. So he has good color temperature relationship as well. There's one of my paintings, and this could get muddy if I went lighter on the sunlit cliffs. Because when you go too light in the sunlight, you lose your temperature and your cliffs become cool. And if I get my shadows too warm, that's when things get muddy. Or that's what I was always taught what muddiness is when your color relationships are off because of value or color temperature. Now, I don't think it is, so I think the value relationships are good. But again, getting too light, now the clouds they're white clouds, so I have them slightly warm. They're not going to be any darker than that until you get in the shadow. So they're not too light, but I could get the grass too light, adding too much white to it, it cools it down. Or just have the wrong temperature. Decide in the sunlight that this grass needs to be a bluer grass would just kill the color relationship in the temperature relationship, and it'll look muddy. So if I go to, now, this is also a black, yellow ochre, and burnt sienna. So I don't have any blue in it. This looks real blue because it's in the sky where we think blue should be, but it's just black and white. Ivory black, when you put white in it, it does become more of a bluish black. But again, values read well, so the color doesn't get muddy. I don't have my lights too light. Darks get pretty dark, but I don't see that as muddy. I got a little bit of reflected light in there with some burnt sienna that makes it look like you can see into the shadow, and that keeps it from getting muddy. But I've got good temperature relationships, cooler shadows. The darks in here are cool, the little cast shadow here. Background, it's cooler, it stays back in the distance. And then the sunlit, warmer areas with the burnt sienna and yellow ochre. So having the right color temperature relationship there keeps it from getting muddy. Now let's look at this one. This also is not muddy, although I have grays in the light area because of the patina on the rock. There was a lot of gray in there, but it's a warmish gray compared to the shadow. Shadow's a lot cooler. So I got really cool shadows. This is probably blue, blue-violet, with a little bit of orange in some areas. And the orange kind of tempers the blue and the violet. This is more of what I started with, that cleaner blue you can see there. I didn't get that toned down. But here I did. But it's still cooler in the shadows, warmer in the sunlit areas. Even though there's some warm gray in the sunlight, it's still warm. So that's not muddy. Same thing with the greens. I got grays in the greens, but they're warmer. I'm careful not to have too much blue in there, just enough to get it grayed or less intense, but it's not cool. Now, if I do this, if I cool the sunlit areas, which I did, these have a lot of yellow, ochre, orange in them, probably orange and burnt sienna in them. But if I add more white and blue in there, it's going to cool the light areas. Now they're colder, and if I warm up the shadow areas, that's when colors look muddy. And I don't know that that achieves it all that much, but that's what muddy color is. You get your color temperature wrong. Your colors don't relate. So it's important to understand that color becomes muddy when it doesn't relate well with the other colors. It's out of context. And that context is always with value and temperature. And you can do that with dirty brushes. If you're mixing a light warm color and you got cool color still in your brush because you didn't clean it good enough, you're going to cool down your warm temperature and it's going to look cooler compared to the shadow, and that's when it's going to get muddy looking. Here I've got a lot of kind of grayish blue, blue-violet, blue-green up here in the mountains and in the foreground, but a lot of gray in the lights as well, but they're the right temperature, hopefully the right value. So slightly warmer in the lights, keeping the shadows cooler. As long as all the color mixtures relate value and temperature-wise, they're going to work a little bit better. Here's a painting, which again is not muddy. This is black over here on the right side. Did the same painting twice. This is earth colors, and this is pure colors. So the earth colors are ivory black, yellow ochre, burnt sienna. Again, the ivory black looks blue in context to, the clouds, the mountains. They're going to appear bluish compared to the other colors because they're in the place where we ordinarily think of as blue. So it even looks bluer. But the shadows are cooler, more black, a little bit of burnt sienna in the shadows. And light areas have yellow ochre and burnt sienna, which are warmer and stay sunlit. So if I can keep the right contrast of warm and cool, or the right relationship, it's going to read better. And over here, I'm using more pure colors, ultramarine blue, alizarin crimson, and cad yellow light. So the colors are pure, and I mix them together, mix the complements, like blue and cad yellow to get the green, adding a little bit of the red to it, which is the complement. Or blue and red with a little blue to get red violet, and a little bit of yellow to it to mute it slightly to get the complement. But I also have some stronger color. So neither one of these are muddy, even though this has dark black and brownish colors in it. The harmony is still there between the value and the temperature. There's another one of limited palette, and it got good sunlight on the hills and on the winter grass on the hill. But if I change the temperature in the sunlight on the grass, I get cooler. I get cooler colors in here, and the shadows appear too warm compared to the light areas. The lights are going to look muddy. It's keeping those relationships between the temperature right and the value got a little lighter, but I was trying to get cooler. And sometimes adding too much white to your paintings, to your light areas, can make them look muddy because they lose the color temperature. Here's another one, black, burnt sienna, and blue. You can see how that nice warm strip, the white, yellow, ochre, and a little bit of burnt sienna, nice and warm. The shadows in the foreground is cooler, more black in it. But if I reverse that, add a little black to the background to make it cooler, and burnt sienna to the foreground shadow to make it warmer, that's muddy a feel because the colors don't relate. When you're used to always working with color temperature relationships and value relationships, it's kind of hard to make it muddy. But on my palette, if I'm not careful and I'm losing control of the value of the colors I'm mixing or the temperature, then I'm going to get muddy colors on my palette. Same thing with my brush I mentioned. If I don't keep my brush is clean, I'm going to get colors in there that will cause me to lose control of the value and the temperature. So here I've got sunlit grass, nice cool shadows in the grass. Shadows are pretty warm in the tree, almost has an appearance of a little muddiness because a little bit on the warm side doesn't quite fit in. But if I change the foreground, I make the light areas cool and the shadows warm, that doesn't fit. It's kind of jarring. They don't relate to each other well. And that makes these colors a bit on the muddy side. Same thing in the light area up in here. Just by getting it too cool, they don't relate as well. So I'm thinking in terms of, again, separating the warm and cool, the sunlit from the shadow. And if you can do that and keep the values right, your painting won't look muddy despite using kind of grayer or more muted colors. Last one here is a color study I did from New Mexico. And here my rooftop is almost too light, almost have too much white in it, which makes them look cool in the sunlight. I would really want to warm them up like that. That would make it work better. But if I'd had them cooler in the sunlight, that doesn't work. And it has a muddy type of relationship in there. Same thing with the wall here. If I get that cool, now the colors don't relate because now suddenly I got blue against orange, but I got cool against warm, and that makes the feeling of muddiness or muddiness in the colors. They don't relate as well. They do value-wise, but not color temperature-wise. Wanted to get across the idea that muddy color is not muted or grayed or black or brown colors. They're when you don't get the color temperature right and your painting doesn't work. Because the goal is to suggest the light. And if you get the temperature and value wrong, the colors aren't going to work as far as suggesting the light and will appear kind of muddy.